Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace, and today is Monday, April 8th. This is a podcast about knitting and books and baking and cats, but most importantly knitting because that is what I love to do the absolute most. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram out of all of those options, so if you'd like to go follow me over on there and get relatively regular updates and pictures and such, that would be awesome. You can find all that information on my blog where all the show notes are, which all the stuff that I'll be talking about will be linked there. If you are on YouTube, the link to my blog and all this stuff will be down below. In addition to that, I work at a yarn store. It's called The Modern Skein in Montgomery, Texas, and I will link all the social media, the store, everything in the show notes. So if you want to go check out our online store or come and hang out with us in person, we would love that. And yes, so all that will be in the show notes and all the various places, so you can find that. Good information to have, and yes. Oh man, I've been busy, very busy. And we'll get into the details of how I've been busy in the actual podcast, and it's not in the intro, because I have a very bad habit of making these intros long. If you would like to go grab something tasty to drink, whether it be hot or cold, or something to snack upon, or an animal to snuggle if you have a pet, and if your pet is snuggable, because not all pets are snuggable, or something to craft upon, or all of the above, or laundry, because I have laundry that I need to do later, because now I'm doing this, and the cat is drinking. If you'd like to do any of those things, you can come back and join me for some cracky chat. So, everyone, I have 2 test knits currently, and you might be thinking, Grace, you had past tense, had 2 test knits, and you got them done, and it was fine, and you don't have any test knits currently. And I would tell you, oh no, I have 2 test knits currently going on right now. And then you might say, where did this come from? Why did we not know? And I would tell you, because this is the conversation that would go on, of course, I would tell you that I got the information that I had gotten both these test knits literally right after I had finished recording, or the day after. So it was too late to change. Everything had been edited. It was all fine and taken care of and uploaded and scheduled, because that's how I do things. So yes, I got 2 test knits last week. One of them is for Amba O'Brien, which is very exciting. I have not test knit things for either of these people. That's a cardigan, which I will show you. And the second thing is a pullover sweater. It's kind of cropped. It's lacy. It's for Caitlin. Her username on Instagram is Wool Jewel. I believe she also has the Wool Jewel podcast, but I could be completely wrong. I think that's what she calls it. She's very sweet. Both of them are very sweet. It's been very fun so far. The one for Caitlin has a much sooner deadline, which is fine because I've made really good progress. I'm very happy with where I am. And the one for Amba O'Brien is at the next May. Not next May, that would be a year from now. No, I mean next month. May 13th, I believe. So, I've been working nonstop on those 2 things, specifically this one that's due at the end of April. And so that is literally all I've been working on. I knit a couple of random rows on some other things, and that was that. So it's not really worth showing you because there's just like 1 or 2 rows knitting in the round or knitting flat. It was just very, very boring. So I do have these 2 test knits that I'll show you. I also have some yarn stash acquisitions because why not? We'll go into that later about how I feel about these particular colors. And then also, everyone, thank you very much for your opinions on the Sultana colors that I had pulled out from this shelf that I have not yet returned the yarn to, as you can clearly see because a lot of it is empty. But after much deliberation and discussion at the yarn store, we did come up with my color combo, and it's all wound and ready to go. I think I'm going to cast it on as soon as I finish this first test knit, but I could be wrong. We'll see. I don't know. But I would really like to cast it on soon. Anyway, so that's just kind of like how this episode is going to go. It doesn't seem like a whole lot of content, but it also is at the same time. I don't know. Anyway, so this is living in my happy bag from BNMA with all my pins, and it's just wonderful, and it makes me very happy and joyous. In here is living my test knit for Caitlin, or Wool Jewel. I have a swatch. Here's my swatch. So pretty. It's even blocked. What up? I don't know why I rotated it and it looks exactly the same. So this happened. I'm just flinging pins go everywhere. This happens to be some very, very deeply intense stash. Like I don't even know how old, but the yarn store that we got this yarn from is no longer in business and hasn't been in business for many years in Houston. Which is sad, but oh well. But this is this yarn for a very long time. I've never gotten around to actually using it. I think it used to be something else that I frogged, and then I wound three cakes together. I now have a text message, excuse me. Yes, anyway, where was I? Trail of thought, whatever. I think they both work. You know what I mean. Welcome to my podcast. This is what we do. So yes, for some reason, I think I had, for whatever reason, when I had frogged what I had been working on with this yarn, I had wound the 3 cakes of yarn, the 3 individual skeins of yarn, into one big ball. Because that was a smart thing to do. This is also an indication how long ago this was, because I would not have done that now. And I think this was a early in my knitting career decision. That's fine. It was easily fixable, and then I wound everything into their individual cakes, and it was fine. And I know that, like, there's a question of, is each section in the big ball, was that a full skein? And I do remember that is the case. I don't remember what I was working on, and I also don't remember what year it was. But I do remember that's what I did. Again, I don't know why, but who knows. I'm older and wiser now, so that's all that really matters. And it makes for a funny story, kind of. I found it humorous. I found it confusing. Anyway, so I had like 6 of them, 5 or 6 of them, and I currently have 2.5 left. And I'm very proud of myself. Because this test knit was very spur of the moment. It was very like, oh, I'll just put my name in. I know that there's a quick turnaround, and I don't know if I can get yarn, and here's an option at the store if I do need that, but also it would be nice if I could use some stash, or if possible I could get knit picks. It just so happened that I could use some stash, and oh my goodness, this was wonderful. I also love this color. Like, I really truly do love and adore this color. It's showing up more blue on the camera. It's more purpley. It's beautiful. So, and you're like, just show us your progress. And I'm like, be patient, people. We just have to talk about all the things, and my story about winding all the yarn into one big ball and how entertaining that is. I'm so funny. So yes, I do have my swatch. What is this end? Oh. And last night, Dear everyone, I seamed the shoulders together. It was just a wonderful moment. I knit the front and I knit the back. It's a seamed item. You knit the front and the back, and like I just said, and then you seam the things together, like I just said, and then you pick up the sleeves around the armholes and you knit the sleeves. Because, yes, that's how things work. It has not been blocked yet. I'm going to be blocking this pretty aggressively just because I know that this was going to need to be done, and I know that the size that it currently is the correct size for how it would be unblocked because I have my blocked swatch. But anyway, let's show this to you. It looks really short. Trust me, it'll grow. It'll be fine. And even if it didn't, it's cropped because yay cropped things, and we love all things cropped. So it's all good. It's got these little garter, basically a garter shoulder thing with short rows, and then you seam that together. It's very fun. And then I have my armholes. I need to seam the sides, and then I will pick up for the sleeves. Because of the way that this is made, it does kind of create a drop shoulder. It's not as dropped of a shoulder as I was expecting it to, which again, granted, that is without blocking. So I'm holding on my arm like down here, and I know that you can't see this. So if it comes to kind of like around here where my sleeve is, then I'd like to have my sleeve kind of in this general area, but we'll see. I have the yarn to do it, and I guess if I use up more yarn, then that's wonderful. So, and I believe that's kind of basically how long the sleeve pattern calls for. So it all works out. It's great. And again, deep stash. Deep, deep, deep stash. And I didn't even mention what yarn it was, and I do apologize for that. It is Cascade 220 Sport. It's $4 a hank. The color number is 2450 because yay for color names that are numbers. There you go. And yeah, it's been a very interesting knit. It's been a very quick knit, I will say, and that's really awesome. I think it'll be a very wearable piece, which I'm very excited about. I think it'll be super cute with jeans or with high-waisted skirts. You guys know me. I am just all about the high-waisted stuff, so yay. What is this called? This is called Leclaire, which is very interesting. I really appreciated, we're going to have a little nerdy moment, shall we? Let's hope my phone doesn't die, because that would be unfortunate. So she named this Leclaire. I don't remember his name, but Leclaire is a violinist, a famous violinist. She explains what kind of musician. Yes, I know I have unread messages. I do apologize. This is my fault. I should not have. Bum bum. Come on. Oh, this is in the pattern. That was not helpful. So yes, she designed this lace pattern with a violinist in mind, whose name is Leclaire. We've been over that. The pattern is now loading. I will read to you a little bit. Okay, excuse me. He's also a composer. Jean-Marie Leclaire. Lace maker by day, violinist by night. The lace mimics the intricacy of his music and keeps you motivated during your knit, keeping you excited to try out every line of the charted lace pattern. And he was Baroque, if I failed to mention that. Or if read that, because that's what she wrote. She did write other stuff, but this is part of the pattern, so I'm not going to share everything with you. Anyway, I think that's really cool that she based this off of a composer. And I know that Caitlin plays the violin, so I think that's pretty cool. And yeah, it creates this very nice diamond-y pattern. I know it's not as easy to see when it's unblocked, but yeah. So, I'm excited with my progress. It's going well. Doing well, hopefully to pick up the sleeve stitches and seam those sides this evening. That would be great. We'll see how that goes. I don't know, because like I said, there's laundry to be folded, and that is very important. As you do. Anyway, moving right along into my next test knit, which is underneath all this Soldana yarn. So let's save this as a surprise, and we'll move this out down here. Bum, bum. I'll show you guys eventually, but I just want to keep it a surprise for right now. Okay. And just hope it doesn't fall into my tea. Okay, so yes, this is the cardigan designed by Amba O'Brien, and it's a linen cardigan. So I'm using our BC Garn Lino, which we do in fact carry at the store. It's 100% linen. We have very fun summery colors. I believe we're getting more in. I don't remember if that is correct and when that is happening, but I do know that we have some currently. I have hair in my face. So that is that. And here is my progress. Oops. Stitches coming off the needle. I'm almost through with my first skein. So that's great. Very basic, top down. Something just fell off my lap. I'm holding this upside down. It would actually, in fact, be, oh goodness gracious, like this. So, and if these stitches on this end close to the edge of the needle is not making you nervous, I don't know what is, because that's just very nerve-wracking. I knew it would be fine, but I just don't like losing stitches. Does anybody like that? So yes, very basic. Then I will divide for the sleeves, and then there is a lace chevron-y pattern around the cuffs in this general area, and then the same lace on the bottom, which hits around hip, bone, hip area. So, I'm very excited. Like I said, it's 100% linen, so I do have to schedule my time, basically. And you're probably like, if you're not a knitter, you're like, why? And I will tell you that knitting with 100% linen is hard on your hands. It's not always the most comfortable thing, which is fine. It's just the way that it is. Like, it's just a fact. And when you muscle through knitting with linen and you muscle through the uncomfortableness and like the stiffness of your hands and just getting sore, then you have this beautiful, beautiful linen cardigan that is like perfect for Houston. So when I say I have to schedule out my time, it means that I have to work on this for about an hour, and then I switch to something else. And then I come back and work on this for an hour, and then I go and work on something else because my hands get tired. Tired. You wouldn't have thought that. If you're not a knitter, you might be very surprised by that. And in fact, there are quite a lot of, there's not a lot of them, but there are a few of them, a few fibers, a few types of yarns that do make your hands hurt, and they do make your hands sore, and depending on how small your needles are or how big your needles are, it can really affect your hands. And I think that might be something that not a lot of people who aren't aware how knitting works, or they don't know how knitting works, is that you can have knitting injuries. That's totally possible. It is very possible. And you have to be careful not to overexert your hands, especially with knitting at a small gauge or a big gauge, or with linen yarn, with, I don't know, I can't think of an example, which is very unfortunate because I just made a big deal about it. But you do have to plan it out, because you don't want to like make your hands work too hard and then you're just like, man, I can't knit at all. So, fun fact. It's a thing. It happens. It's just the way the knitting life is. Oh, the drama. Because that's super dramatic. Not really. Anyway, that's my my second test knit. That one is due sometime in May. This coming May, not next May. So I'm not too worried about the progress because I did all of that pretty much in 1 day and a half-ish. So again, in scheduling out your time and all that jazz. So it's very fun. I'm not, knitting with linen is not my like top pick thing to do, but I love the effect that it has, and so I know that it's worth it in the end to muscle through the linen, knit with the linen, it'll be fine, and then I'll have a beautiful linen sweater to wear in Houston with my high-waisted jeans and my high-waisted skirts and my sundresses and all that jazz. So, all worth it. All worth it. So that is all the progress that I've really made this week because they're test knits and they do have deadlines. Some of them, one of them is closer than the other one, which is fine. I know it'll be no big deal. So that is all the knitting that I have to show you. That being said, I do have some upcoming projects that's just very exciting. I'm just so excited about them, everyone. Can you tell I'm excited? If you did not see last week's episode, at the end, I got super excited, surprise, surprise, about the new Caitlin Hunter pattern, sweater pattern called Sultana, and now we know how to pronounce it, and it's all okay. But it's cropped, it's got color work, it's DK, it goes quickly, it's an amazing stash buster, literally all good things. Like, there's nothing bad about this sweater. And I really, 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 really want to make one. And so last week I was just sitting here discussing it, and I was like, oh, I know that I have a lot of DK back here. Oh, let's look now. So we did some stash diving together. It was very fun, and we had, you and I, we had good conversations about the colors and stuff, and so that was very entertaining. And I pulled out this massive bag and I put it all in a big book bag, and I took it to work of DK weight that I had saved from here, and I put together in various combinations, and we looked at them and we decided that this particular combo would be the most fun. So you need 4 colors. No big deal. There's one color in particular that I really want to use because it just makes things like really pizzazzy and poppy, and who doesn't love a sweater that has pizzazz? Though good neutral sweaters are also amazing. They are pizzazzy in themselves. Side note. So I actually have 5 colors picked out. I'm not sure how exactly I will use this 5th color, but I want to incorporate it somehow, whether it be the ribbing around the sleeves and the body or the color work in the actual torso body area. So yes. Let us discuss. Let me show you. I don't remember what order they go in, so I'm not going to tell you what order they are. Well, okay, so I believe that this is going to be number 1. This one didn't have a tag, but I believe this is Marilyn Tosh DK. A lot of this is Marilyn Tosh DK or Malabrigo. So this is number 1. This is number 2. So this will be around my neck, and then this will be the color that is in the body. Like the main color. It's not really, it's not called the main color, but, so yes. This is, I thought I had a tag for this, do I not? I believe this is Malabrigo. No, that's not true. This is Marilyn Tosh DK, I believe. This one's Malabrigo. Rios. In the Candome colorway. It's not really showing up very well, but it's lots of blues and greens and blacks and purples. It's beautiful. So here we have these. We'll use my face to hold these up. Next up, it's very technical. This is how we do things here. Next up is this Marilyn Tosh DK yarn, and again, there's no tag. I was almost positive that, oh, maybe they're in the bag somewhere. I bet that's where they are. It's so bright and beautiful that it's blowing out on camera and you really just can't see what this actually looks like. But it is like the hottest of reds, the hottest of pinks, a little bit of orange. It's beautiful. It reminds me more of, I think the colorway was actually something like flambe or something like that, but it reminds me more of like a lipstick color because there is so much pink. Fun fact. But nobody asked my opinion on what to name this colorway. So these are my 4 colors. We have one more. Very, again, very technical. Looks good. We're going to throw in some Edison bulb. And so together, this is my Sultana, everyone. In all of its beautiful glory. I'm so excited. Don't know when it's going to be cast on. It'll be cast on soon because I want to wear it so bad. Now we're going to put this down because I feel weird holding it up to my head. Thank you for bearing with me during that very odd moment. Very excited about this. So yes, again, very deep stash. Deep stash yarn that came from various places. Most of it came from stores that are no longer in business that were in Houston. And though that's sad, it's just a mark of time. And that's just like crazy. All of that is stash. Deep stash. Hello. Hello. So yes, that is my Sultana by Caitlin Hunter. It's not cast on yet, clearly. Hopefully it'll be cast on sometime soon as a reward. But also I really want to finish other sweaters and I have my test knits. So, and I have one more thing to show you, everyone. My yarn acquisitions. Okay, so there's a thing that, oh, that came very close to landing in my tea. Crisis averted. I almost said problem solved, but more of like a crisis if yarn fell in tea. Still be a problem, but it's more of a crisis. Anyway, there's something about yarn that is just truly amazing. And that sounds very cheesy and very like out there and very big, but there's something about yarn, and especially when you see these beautiful colors, that like it strikes you. Like there's something about it, something about those colors, that the way they've been put together, the colors that they're next to, projects that you think about, that just, it sparks joy in your brain. And it's a creative joy, which I think, I love creative joy. It's just like, oh man, this makes me so excited, and I can't wait to work on this because it makes me feel joy. It makes me feel creatively joyful. It makes me feel just like really happy, and it just makes me feel really excited to work on this thing. So I got these 2 colors that I've been thinking about for a very long time. And there happens to be a shawl pattern that came out in the past several months that I think would work perfectly. And I'm forgetting the name of it, but hopefully I'll remember it after I show these yarns to you. I did get these from the Modern Skein, and hopefully they'll show up well on camera, and if not, oh well. These are my joy colors right now, and it's not showing up at all, but we'll try our best. At least it's in focus. That's good. So these are 2 Hedgehog Merino singles. This is the Beach Bunny colorway. It's just so many fun colors, and like the blue, and then down here we have like those oranges, and on this side we have like the black and like dark reds. And then this one, like, I'm all about knitting with bright colors. I do not shy away from doing that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with knitting with only bright colors or not knitting with bright colors, whatever floats your boat. But I don't mind knitting with bright colors. I enjoy it. But there's something about this pink that has always kind of, it's not scared me necessarily, but it's always been like, wow, that's really bright. I don't know if I could wear that. But I loved it, and I didn't know what I wanted to put with it. And so then Beach Bunny came along. But this is Gossip from Hedgehog Fibers, and I wish so dearly that it would show up correctly, but it's not. This pink that you're seeing is such a bright, like, it's a fiery pink. It's a neon-y pink. And I don't know how to, and the yarn is rolling off my lap. Still not even really showing up. Anyway, so like these two colors I've been wanting to use, or this color in particular, which is called Gossip. I've wanted to use this color for a very long time, didn't know what exactly, but I knew that I loved it. And then, just playing around, as you do, because it's very distracting with all this yarn, and I put these two together, and I remember the name of the shawl. It's called Right Around the Corner Shawl. I don't remember who it's by, but it's basically a striped triangle with the two colors, and then on one side you kind of do a log cabin almost. You pick up the stitches on one side, you knit with just one color, and then you pick up and you finish that section and cast off, and then you pick up the sections on the other side, including the new section, with the other color, and add tassels, because you have to do that. So I'm very excited about this. It just makes me feel joyful. It makes me feel happy. It makes me feel like a fun, summery, springy shawl that has bright, summery colors, and I can't wait to wear them because why not? Life is too short to be afraid of knitting with yarn. Which is, again, if you know what you like and you know what you like to knit with, then more power to you. I'm not saying you should go out and knit with all the neons if you only knit with neutrals. Unless that would make you happy, in which case, go do it. But this just makes me happy. It makes me joyful. It makes me feel very creative, and I love that. I think that there are some times, especially with having these two test knits going at the same time, it's very easy to get, not bogged down necessarily, but it's very easy to be like, I don't really feel super creative right now, and so I'm just kind of following the pattern as it goes, which is what I'm supposed to do with a test knit. That is how I'm supposed to do a test knit. But so it's nice to have projects like that, or yarn like that, or ideas like that, while doing certain other things that are just kind of like follow the directions. To have the fun things and be like, I am still a creative person, and I still have a lot of fun putting this stuff together, and I think it's awesome, and its color makes me happy. And especially when we're coming into the summer and the spring with all these bright, happy, summery colors, and springy colors, but just very, like, bright colors. I don't have any shawls necessarily that are like, pow, hello. And this is what this is going to be. And I'm very excited about it. So, again, I don't know when that's going to be cast on. But, because also the needles that I want to use are currently being used on my linen sweater. So I don't know. We'll see. Well, obviously the linen sweater has to come off those needles at some point because, yay, due dates and timelines and stuff. But hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later because it's just fun and I'd like to have it for the summer. So that is my yarn acquisitions for the week. They don't happen very often. And I think it's okay. It's totally fine because both test knits, not both test knits, one test knit and another project are both using up deep, deep, deep stash. It's okay. It's okay. And then also, last month, I think it was, yeah, last month, I finished more than one languishing whip, and I didn't cast anything on, so this is my reward. I might cast 2 things on, but that's okay. It'll be fine. I make the rules. I can do what I want. So yes. Like I said, I don't know when this will be cast on, but hopefully sometime soon, and I cannot wait to show you guys what it looks like together. I can't wait to see it for myself, and I'm just very excited about both these new projects. So this might be a shorter episode than normal, just because there's little, I sped through that pretty quickly. It happens. In regards to baking, last week I did make, I don't remember if I mentioned this, but I was going to make chocolate chip toffee cookies. They were very good. I would highly recommend that recipe. I don't remember if I included it in the show notes, but they were super good. So I will include it again in this week's show notes. If you are interested or you like the toffee taste, I do remember mentioning it because we had this discussion about browning the butter and I didn't have time and I knew it would be fine not browning the butter. Yes. So yeah, I did make those cookies. They are very good. There are a few left. Emphasis on the few. So, if you like making cookies, I would highly recommend this recipe. I don't remember what the blog name was that I got it from. All I know is that I found it on Pinterest because that's where I find all my recipes. It's the place to go. So, that is my baking. I don't really have any baking plans for this week. So, but that might change. Who knows? I might randomly feel a whim of baking something, and yes, so we will see. But the cookies, would highly recommend. In regards to books, I've been kind of like not really reading a whole lot this past week just because this lace Leclaire pullover is all lace and it was requiring reading and focusing on charts and definitely not reading material. But this linen sweater, on the other hand, is very much reading material. So, I think once I make more progress with my Leclaire, I will feel really good about just sitting down and working on the linen sweater for a while and reading. So, that is very exciting. I don't know what exactly I'm going to read, necessarily, but we will find out when the time comes. And if it's interesting, then I will share it. But if you'd like to see what I'm reading, you can go be my friend on Goodreads, and we can see what each other are reading, and I would love to be your friend, because yay, book recommendations, and all that jazz. Always good. Always good. That is all that I have for you guys this week. I'm very sorry that this episode is on the shorter side, possibly, at this point, because I can't tell, because I haven't edited it yet. Words. But yes, hopefully I will have hopefully a finished test knit for next week, maybe 2. I feel like that's very adventurous. I don't think that's possible. Who knows? Shoot for the stars. Might get 2 sweaters done. I don't think so, but you never know. At least 1. That would be great, and then I can get back to maybe casting on a sultana, maybe casting on my joy shawl. My joy shawl. I like calling it that. It's like my toady sweater that's got a different name. And then just making progress on all the other things that I have going on. The Lady Mademoiselle Dandelion is so close to being done, and that really needs to get finished. So yes. Hopefully next week I'll have more of a variety of things that I worked on. Maybe new cast-ons, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, and I hope you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope that they are very successful. We've just gone over what my crafty plans are, just to make progress and move forward, because that's always good. Yes. I don't know. I think if I was to cast on my Sultana, it would be definitely after I finish the Leclaire pullover, which means I have to finish these 2 sleeves and do a neckline and then block it. So, but that's possible. I can do that. It's only Monday. It's Monday. It'll be fine. The due date is not until the end of April, so it's fine. It's okay. Really like to do that. And yeah, I would also really, I know I literally just said this, but I would really like to finish my Lady Mademoiselle Dandelion cardigan soon, because it is very lightweight and it will be really awesome. it will be awesome now because it's getting hot, and I'm hot now, and I'm really realizing that the ceiling fan is not on because it's usually on in here. Now I'm just rambling. So those are my crafty plans that I hope that they are successful. I hope your crafty plans are also successful. And all that jazz. Like I said at the beginning, I have social medias, I have show notes. All of that information will be on my blog. If you are on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below. And in addition to that, all the information to the yarn store that I work at will be in the show notes. Come hang out with us if you are local. We would love to see you. We'd love to hang out and knit with you if you'd like. Or if you're far away, excuse me, if you're far away, you can check out our online store and see all the goodies that we have, and if anything sparks your interest. So that is very fun, but all that information will be on the blog for sure. So, yes. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you coming back if you're a returning viewer or if you're checking this podcast out for the first time. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I do ramble quite a lot, but I try and cut it back when I know it's getting out of hand, but sometimes I can't tell. I do my best. Anyway, ramble, tangent. Thank you again so much for watching this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next week, hopefully with a new cast on, hopefully with a finished test knit. Maybe 2. Probably not, but maybe 2. You never know. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.